Today we're going to talk about gamification in education and how one can incorporate gamification techniques into your classroom. The goal of this Prezi is to showcase the benefits of using aspects of gamification within education. The Prezi will define gamification, it will showcase what gamification can do, and it can provide ways to incorporate gamification into your class. So, what is gamification? Gamification is the art and sometimes science of applying game theory and mechanics in non game contexts. We've been using gamification techniques for years and just not realizing it because it's so fun. So, think about when you use social media in ad campaigns. If you click a like or retweet a tweet, you get to take $10 off your next purchase at Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme. Or your thousands of frequent flyer miles or loyalty rewards. Why are we collecting these things? Because we get something out of it. We're playing a game, but we're not. More and more educators are seeing the value of incorporating gamification into their classrooms. You have to understand that we now teach a generation that's grown up playing Mario Kart, Monopoly, Uno, and whatever other new games is out there. So teachers have to meet students where they are. And resources like Kahoot, Socrative, and others bring the game field into an educational setting. Gamification introduces concepts like badges, levels, achievements, and game points into the classroom. Students are rewarded with these concepts when they succeed, but there's no penalty when they don't. By introducing a system of rewards without penalties, students are not afraid to step outside their comfort zone and fail. By removing the fear of failure, we subconsciously encourage them to learn. We know that the only way that students are going to learn is if they make mistakes. So when they succeed, we reward them. If they fail, we don't penalize them. They will be encouraged to make more and more and more mistakes and ultimately succeed and learn, and they'll have fun in the process. So, what are the elements of gamification? Number one is fun. Number two, we motivate our students to be self starters and get the concept or the skill or the standard on their own at first with little guidance. Their social influence. We encourage people to work together. If those people in the class are sitting around and they're mastering a standard, it'll make those who are off task want to do the same thing. We have students who are engaged in their work. They're happy to learn. It provides a goal or a system of healthy competition, and it encourages teamwork. How gamification should look in your classroom, or how it could look. Number one, every district is moving to problem-based learning. Problem-based learning is where we teach a concept to students and then we present them with a problem. They have to use elements of what they just learned in order to solve these real-world problems. We all know that applying is an upper level We all know that applying is an upper level in Bloom's taxonomy. So if you cannot just spit out what you've learned and actually apply it to a new situation, we can tell that you've somewhat mastered that standard. So students learn through inquiry while solving a real world problem. This should be a challenge to students. We should give them a problem to solve, and it should encourage critical inquiry. It shouldn't just be a yes or no type of question. It should be a scenario or a problem where they have to use multiple standards in order to effectively solve it. Mastery learning. We don't want students to just learn for a grade. It's not about getting that A. It's actually about learning that standard or learning that skill. So our games or quests must build upon each other. Think about it in a math class. You have to understand addition and subtraction before you move on to the next game or quest of multiplication and division. And you have to understand addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division before we move on to fractions. It's about the skill, not the grade. Lastly, gamification emphasizes skills and knowledge over information. We must design with iteration in mind. One skill has to build upon the next, and we need all of the students to succeed so we can get that epic win. We have to create a plan for constant and frequent feedback, and you teachers must understand that gamification is going to be a learning process for you and your students. It is not a quick fix. We've got to model students how to use gamification. We've got to work with our rewards. We've got to develop a system that works for us. So adding gamification elements can be fun, but it is going to take some work. So where can you go to get some helpful sites? Number one, always start out with what you know. A lot of teachers are already using Edmodo. You can make sites or mini quizzes on Edmodo, and they already have badges that you can give students. That is an element of gamification. You can also go to websites like classcraft.com or 3dgamelab.com, which is the site we've used this 9 weeks to develop quests for your students, and there are a plethora of badges and different things that you can give students. Classbadges.com, classdojo.com. Kahoot is a system of already made games for you to review with your students. Socrative.com is a system that encourages higher order thinking, and it puts it into that type of a game feel. And then the website www.educatorial.com/wordpress.gamification. It's just a site that displays one teacher's quest, I guess you could say, toward moving toward gamification. Teachers can identify with his successes and his struggles, so you can see from his process what process you might have to take. And these are my sources. You can also start here to see where you want to start with introducing gamification into your classroom. Remember, it is fun, but it is hard work, but it's so worth it in the end.